Hi sewists and aspiring sewists, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Doyen, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to make this collar varsity jacket. So if this looks like what you're interested in, then you want to keep watching this video till the end. In order to achieve this tutorial, these are the basic materials we're going to be working with, of which the first thing I have here is this white and harsh rib band. I have two pieces here, which is what I'm going to be using to achieve this. Then I have this off-white fabric here, which is about half trouser. Also, I have another fabric here, which is about 1 yard. So this is going to serve as the fabric for the body, while the off-white is going to serve as the fabric for the sleeve. So I'm going to basically be combining both together. Then for the measurement, this is the standard measurement we're going to be working with. I'm working with a small size, so let's just get right into it. So the first thing I did there was to lay my fabric on a fold, then fold in allowance of about 4 inches, which is what you can see on your screen. This allowance is going to serve as my button allowance. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to pin this down. I'm going to pin my button allowance down, just as you can see me do right here. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to come to this top side to trim whatever excess that I have here. So after that, then I'm going to take out my button allowance. So for this button allowance, I'm making use of 0.75. So I'm just going to be marking this on different points here. Let me also add that you can actually increase your button allowance to like 1 inch, 1.5, depending on the allowance, how folded, how overlapped you want it to be. Next, I'm going to go ahead to measure my full length measurement. So what I have on my measurement book is 28 inches. So I'm going to subtract 2 inches from that 28 inches. Now to confirm my 2 inches, I'm going to measure what I have on my band. So while I fold it, what I'm going to be having here will be 2.5. So when I take out my sewing allowance, I'll be left with 2 inches. I hope you understand now. So I'm going to just go ahead to mark 26 inches on this my front for this, just as you can see me do right here. So after that, I'm going to measure my shoulder measurement. So for every measurement I'm going to be taking, I would exclude the button allowance. So for my shoulder measurement, I have 18 inches here. Dividing that into 2 would give me 9 inches. So I'm going to add half inch seam allowance to it. So I'm just going to go ahead to measure 9.5 on my shoulder line area here. So once I have that done, the next thing will be to measure my neckline width. So I'm just going to measure 2.5 as my neckline width, then making sure that I'm excluding my button allowance, just as you can see on your screen. So once I'm done with that, then you want to come down to measure the depth of your neckline. So since we are going to be adding a collar, you don't want it to be too wide, then I'm going to just make this 2.5 inches. Then I'm just going to mark a curve around this point here. So from this angle of my shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch and make a point there. So once I'm done making this point, I'm going to connect that line towards the neckline, just as you can see me illustrate on your screen. So once we have that done, then the next thing will be to measure the armhole of this jacket. So from this point, I'm going to come down by 9 inches. Myth has it that to determine your armhole measurements, you can actually use your shoulder line measurements to determine that. But however, just do what works for you and make sure that it is very free. So I'm going to just form the midpoint of my armhole, which is 4.5. Then on this point here, I'm going to rule a line just to show the midpoint. Then I'm going to form a straight line, just as you can see me do right here. So from this midpoint here, I'm going to come in by 0.5 from this midpoint, which is what you can see me do here. So once I have that done, then I'm going to come down towards this downside to extend my line, just as you can see. Then I'm going to use my French curve to connect these dots together. So on this part, what I have here is about 0.75. So next thing to measure here will be the body measurement. So for my body measurement here, I have 46 inches. 46 inches divided by 4 is 11.5. And I'm going to just add half inch seam allowance, which is 12 inches. So I'm just going to mark 12 inches excluding my button allowance. Then I'm going to just make a straight line connecting the dots together, just as you can see me do on your screen. So once I have all of this done, then the next thing you want to do is to cut out the shape. Once you're done with that, one very important thing you want to do is to notch the center point of the button allowance. Then cut out the neckline just as you can see me do right here. Then also notch the center point here. So once you have that done, then this you're done with the front side already. So this is leftover of the other side of my fabric, and I'm going to be using this to cut the back side of my jacket. So while laying this on the back side, you're taking out the button allowance for the back side. I hope you understand. So I'm trying to manage my fabric at this point, and what I have is equivalent to what I need for my jacket. So just because it's a jacket, I'm going to make the back side higher than the front side. So we're just going to maintain the same slopey shape on the shoulder line, but to make it easier, I'm going to position my ruler like this. Then I'm going to measure 1 inch allowance. So what I'm just trying to explain to you is that the back side is going to be higher than the front side by 1 inch, just as illustrated in the video, and you can try to extend yours by 1.5 or 2 inches depending on how chubby you are. So once I have that done, I try to match everything together. Then for the neckline, I'm going to maintain the same 2.5 inches and mark my point here. Then for the depth, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, just as you can see. So I'm also going to make a curve around my neckline, just as you can see me do right here. So for every other thing, we're going to be cutting equally. So I'm just going to follow the line, and we're going to cut. So next thing here is the sleeve, of which I'm going to place on a double fold, just as you can see. Then for the circumference of the sleeve, I'm going to measure 10 inches. Now how I got my 10 inches was that I added 1 inch allowance to my armhole measurement, which was 9 inches. So that was how I was able to get this 10 inches. So that's what I use. That's how I get my sleeve circumference. So my sleeve length measurement is 24 inches minus 2 inches for my waistband. What I have left is 22 inches, and that's what is on this fabric. So I'm just going to maintain that because I'm working with a stretchy fabric. Then from this top side, I'm going to measure 3.5 inches, then come down by 1.5 inches. So my circumference, my round sleeve circumference will be measured from this second line, and my round sleeve here is 16 inches, which divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'm going to add half inch seam allowance to that. So I'm going to mark 8.5 on this second line, just as you can see. Then for my down sleeve, on my measurement book, I have 12 inches, so that's a 6 inches. And I'm going to add half inch allowance, that's 6.5. So I'm just going to make my point here, and I'm going to be extending the line of my down sleeve towards the line of my round sleeve. Then I'm going to merge it towards the first line. So once you're done with that, you're just going to make a curve on this top part. So I'm just going to be using my French curve to make a curve around this area. You can decide to use your free hand to just form a curve around the top part of your sleeve. So after that, this is what we have. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut this shape. So once you're done with that, you're just going to top stitch on this part. Next is the collar, and for this I'm just going to cut a random circumference. So I'm going to be working with 20 inches for the circumference, while for the length on a fold like this, I'm going to be working with 3 inches. So I'm just going to turn this over to the wrong side. So what we have here is about 3.25. So I'm just going to take out the 0.25 there, because I want the measurement exactly on 3 inches. So basically, I'm just going to trim out the little excess that we have here, and I'm going to just put this aside. So for my side pockets, I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of this. That's why I'm placing it on a double fold. So for the width, I'm going to measure 7.5, while for the length, I'm going to measure 6 inches. So once I have that done, I'm just going to cut this out, then open up the other part to give us 4 pieces of this. So after that, this is what we have. So once I'm done cutting, I'm just going to put this aside. So for my pocket flaps, I'm going to place this fabric on fold. I'm using the off-white material for my pocket flap. Then I'm going to measure 2.5 inches as the length measurement. So once I have that done, I'm just going to cut out what I have here. So after that, I'm going to measure the circumference of this. So I'm going to measure 7.5, which was the same measurement we used for our pocket. So once I have that done, I'm just going to go ahead to cut this. Then I'm going to open up this other part here, just to give us 2 pieces of this. Next, we're going to be cutting the extension of our waistband. So I'm going to position my fabric on a fold like this, and I'm going to measure the length that I want for my waistband. But to determine that, just position your waistband on your fabric like this to determine the actual length. So after that, then this is what we have. So I'm going to measure the width as 3 inches for my extension. So once I have that done, I'm just going to open up the other side. So we have 2 pieces of this extension. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to couple all my fabrics together.
Hello, I'm super excited to announce to you that online courses are now available. So if you are interested in learning more about streetwear, you want to know how to make t-shirts, joggers, hoodies, varsity jacket, tracksuits, sweatpants, cargo pants, and so many more, these courses are made for you. The courses are displayed on your screen. So if you are interested in registering for any of these courses, then you want to just click on the link underneath this video to register for these courses. And guys, guess what? These courses are well detailed. You're going to be learning how to identify fabrics, how to match make fabrics, size charts, measurements, and the like, depending on the course you are actually subscribing for. So you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. So kindly click on the link in my bio, kindly click on the link in the description to actually register for this class. Bye.
Moving on, the first thing I did was to attach the pocket flap to 2 pieces out of the 4 pieces we cut initially. So I'm just going to be attaching this to the front side of my jacket. So I'm going to separate these 2 pieces away from each other. Then I'm going to just pick the center point from this notch area like this. So on this part of my jacket, I'm going to be teaching you how to fix a side pocket. So what you just need to do is from this downside here, come up by 3.5 inches. Mind you, the half inch is for seam allowance, so I'm just going to mark a point here. Then on this other side here, I'm going to come in by 4 inches. This also includes the seam allowance. So once you have that plus sign there, then from that point you're going to come up by 6 inches. So I'm just going to measure 6 inches and mark a point there across. Then on this other side here, I'm going to measure 4 inches, which shows where it stops. Then I'm going to connect this downwards. So for each pocket, we're going to be working with one plain and one with the pocket flap. So I'm going to bring out the plain side, then I'm going to position it on this part of my jacket. So basically, I'm going to start my sewing from the point where I marked, and I'm going to stop at the other point at the downside. Next, after that, I'm going to position this other side with the flap. I'm going to position it like this. Then I'm going to start from the point where I marked. Then I'm going to stop my sewing at the other point where I marked. So after attaching both sides, I'm just going to create an opening at the center. Then I'm going to notch towards the left side. Then also notch towards the right side, towards the stitched part. I hope you understand. Now I'm also going to do the same thing on this other side, not towards the left side and not towards the right side. So after that, you want to tuck in the plain one inside, then tuck in the one with flap afterwards. Then tuck in towards the sides, just as you can see. Then turn towards the other side as well, just as you can see me illustrate right here. So after you must have tucked it in, then you should be having something in the form of a triangular shape like this. So after you must have gotten your triangular shape, just make a reversal on this triangular shape. So I'm going to reverse it multiple times, and I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to go ahead to top stitch from this side and towards the top side of the pocket entrance. I'm going to top stitch that part. Then I'm going to also move towards the side of my pocket just like this. So once we have that done, then our pocket is secured. So this is what it looks like. So I repeated the same thing on the other side of my jacket, and this is what we have. So you can decide to make your pocket slanted or make it straight, just like I did mine, depending on what you want. So next, we're going to just go ahead to sew the sides of our pocket on the inside. So I'm just going to be weaving the sides of my pocket on the inside like this, just like I'm doing in this video. So once I'm done with that side, I'm going to weave this other side, just as you can see me do in the video. So after that, I'm also going to weave the downside. So basically, I'm just sealing up my pocket. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other pocket as well. So next, after that, I'm going to come towards my allowance area and I'm going to weave that part as well. I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side.